Hey everyone, welcome back to the District 3 podcast. My name is Edwin.
And Migs.
And we don't have Elena this week, unfortunately, for this episode. But it's kind of like just me, Migs, just trying to ride this boat and hoping it doesn't sink, right, Migs?
Yes.
How have you been, man? What have you been up to?
I've been all right, man. This has been my slow season, so I've been doing a lot of home care, a lot of self-care.
That's good.
Yeah, I've been cleaning my house and watching movies and full on like emotionally crying during these movies. You know,
Okay.
I think you need all of that in life.
What was the last
You
movie?
need all the feelings.
What was the last movie you cried to?
Dude, I don't remember. I cry a lot.
The movies that have dogs in them, they tend to make me cry. Like the ones that like the dog is lost and then like they spend the entire movie finding it and they finally find it at the end.
Yeah.
Those are the ones that really get to me. But I can't. For me, I don't cry that much in movies. I don't know why.
I do a lot, man. Like even like during like the Grammys, like. She finally did it. Like
Sabrina Carpenter finally won her Grammy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and to me, it means a lot more because a lot of these people come through here and I get to like do a lot of their shows, work a lot of their shows. So now it's kind of like they didn't have one then, and then now they do, and it's kind of watching them put in the work and then being a small artist, and you have like all the biggest artists in the room just singing your song back at you. That must be amazing.
I bet, dude. And I see that you're wearing your Lakers jersey. What do you think about Luka joining the Los Angeles Lakers?
Worst trade ever for the Mavs.
I was about to say, I don't know nothing about basketball whatsoever, but I texted my friends, Ever and Fernando, and I was like, hey, y'all are basketball heads. I'm guessing this Luka thing's a good thing, right? And they were like, it's like the best trade that could have happened. Not for the Mavs, but for the Los Angeles Lakers. So. And he speaks Spanish, too, which is really cool. He's based in Los Angeles now. So what are your thoughts on that, Mix?
I mean, I was surprised. Like, I couldn't believe it. Like, John Boy was the first thing I read who posted that. And I just texted, like, my group of friends, like, Luka to the Lakers. And then it went off, you know? that group chat turned to fire.
Oh, sure.
But, no, man, it's good. Like, I can't believe we got our next, like, superstar before our last superstar even leaves, you know. And
you're having a good year because I mean this and then the Los Angeles Dodgers won.
Yeah.
And you were happy about that.
Yeah. The Chargers are finally looking like a good team. Hey, all right.
Okie dokie. And one of
the LA Galaxy also won their championship too.
Oh yeah.
That's
what's going on with Los Angeles teams? They're like all killing it right now.
That's why it's set on fire.
I finally got done with dry January, so I was able to have my first alcoholic drinks like 4 or 5 days ago, and honestly, like alcohol doesn't hit me like I mean this, like it doesn't hit me like it used to hit me in the sense that I don't make it a priority that much anymore hanging out with friends. Like I feel like ever since I came back from dry January and I hang out with friends who I used to drink with, I don't really care that much about drinking, but I still enjoy a few drinks. Don't get me wrong. I still will drink a margarita. I still will drink some cider. But I feel disconnected from it for some reason after this dry January. I really just kind of approached everything head on and not like have that drink on a Thursday afterwards after a tough day. And I don't know. It kind of helped me get disconnected a little bit more from alcohol and stuff. But for the folks that drink, like, hey, it's still fun. I like to drink and have conversations with people. It's fun to hang out with friends and drink, and I will probably still do that. But I got really focused into like going to the gym every morning, and I'm really motivated to do that. And I just don't want to do anything that much that will stop my progress that I see in on the scale or just in general on my fitness. Something that I recommend might help you. You know, if you're finding yourself drinking a lot, just a recommendation from me. But I'm excited about today's guest. For the first time on the podcast, we have Geraldine Martinez with us, who is a realtor in Northwest Arkansas. And we have several topics that we want to talk about. But first of all, welcome to the podcast, Geraldine. How are you?
Hi, welcome. Thank you. I'm good. Thank you for inviting me.
And I know that you're also a Los Angeles, is it Dodgers fan?
Yes. So
And you
my
got to go to
brother.
the parade, huh?
I did.
saw
I
that
got
on
to go.
social
So we
media.
actually had gotten tickets for the sixth game, but we didn't make it to the sixth game. But the
Okay.
parade was still super fun.
How long were you there during that time when you went to the parade?
Just the weekend. We literally just went for like from Friday to Monday. So
Okay.
yeah, but it was so fun. Everybody was so proud. Everybody like
Yeah,
all you saw was blue and
dude, like
white and
when they hit that home or when they started winning in New York, I hit up my homies. I was like, "Let's go to the parade," and you know, like two of them were like, "Hell yeah, let's go!" And like I'm right there about to buy tickets, and I'm like, to fly out there, and I'm like, "Wait a minute, hold on." Let me check my calendar.
Yeah, no,
I had work. I was like so upset about it.
it was
But my friend
so
went.
fun. Yeah. Oh really?
Yeah.
I saw a few people like in the airport. There's like a few people with Dodgers, so I figured we're on the same flight. You know, it's just like a straight from XNA to LA. So
I posted on Instagram that I'm like a fake Dodgers fan because the last time I flew, I had the Los Angeles black cap on, and I didn't even know that was a Dodgers hat. I thought it was just a black LA hat. And then I posted on Instagram, and people like I got a bunch of replies, and people were like, "Yo, that's a Dodgers hat. That's not just an LA hat."
Yo.
yeah.
And then when I was at the airport, I had like two older white men that came up to me, and they were like, "Those Dodgers did pretty good, right?" And me, like, not wanting to disappoint them, I was like, "Yeah, I've been watching the games, never watched a full Dodgers game,
That's
you know."
funny, yeah.
And I just didn't want to lie to them. I didn't want to break their heart. But are you originally from California, Geraldine?
Yes, originally
From what
from
part?
there, Los Angeles, California. Yeah.
Okay. Were you born there?
I was.
And where are your family, your parents from?
My mom's from El Salvador and my dad's from Honduras.
Okay. And how long did y'all live over there in California?
I was up there until I was like 10 or 11. Then we moved to Utah for about a year, and then we came to Arkansas. So I've been here since like I was 12.
Okay, same here. I moved here when I was 11
Yeah.
from California as well. Was there a reason why your parents moved over here?
Yes, so we were trying to get away from all the gang and all of that.
Same.
One of my brothers was starting to kind of join in, so we moved to Utah, get him away from that. Utah wasn't the best for work. So then we had family here in Arkansas, and they, said it was small. There was a lot of work opportunities, so we ended up here with all of our family, and we stayed.
I got to go to Utah. Was it 2 years ago? We took a road trip from here to Washington State, and we passed by Salt Lake City. It's so beautiful.
So beautiful, yeah.
I don't know if I want to live there, but it was very beautiful. The mountains were really beautiful too, and it was a little chilly.
The snow there is insane, but like nothing stops. Like there's like 12 inches of snow. Like I remember being a kid and like having to go to the bus stop and like walking like through the snow, and like you just had to do that, But
What kind of work do immigrants do over there? Like, is there like a big like corporation or industry that's powerful over there?
So there's always like production stuff. So they always do factories, and back then, it was easier to just get, whatever they got to work. So just a lot of production stuff.
Okay. And at what point do you start telling yourself like maybe real estate is something I want to do? When do you start thinking about that?
That was very, very recent. So
Oh, you're new to this?
yes. So
Okay.
I have only had my real estate license for 3 years.
Oh, wow.
Prior to that, I was a nurse. I'm a nurse still.
Oh, yeah, you told me this.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I was working as a nurse, and it was going well. Everything was doing good. But I just felt like there is more. Like I needed to invest. I needed to learn. I needed to know what else there was. All of a sudden, I just got hungry for real estate. I don't know why. Don't ask me why. I just got hungry. So initially, I was like, I'm gonna go to real estate. I'm gonna figure this out. I'm gonna learn for me and myself and my husband at the time. I was like, let's just invest. Let's learn. If I'm gonna do it, why not? Just cap on it. So once people started finding out that I was a realtor, they just started asking me questions, asking me to help them buy and sell, and it just kind of became a thing. So ever since I got my real estate license, it just became a career basically. But I initially did it just for my own knowledge, my own strength. I wanted to start investing. I felt that there was more than just 401k. There was more than just work. There was more wealth, more value.
Yeah. And going back to nursing, were you doing like 12-hour shifts?
I was doing, yes. So I was doing 12-hour shifts, 3 to 4 days a week. And then when I became a realtor, I was doing 16-hour shifts.
Oh, damn.
Hmm.
So how do you, like, just in general, doing that? Because I know you have children as well. Like, how do you do that? How do you do 12-hour shifts? Like, how do you manage that without burning out?
So at that time, me and my husband lived together. Me and my ex-husband lived together, and we did opposite 12s. So the days
Oh,
that he was
wow.
off, I was working. The days that I was working, he was off.
Was he also doing
Um,
some medical work, or was he doing other kind of
he
work?
was doing other work. He was doing
Oh, okay.
production work. Hmm.
Okie
Yeah.
dokie. Man, like I have friends that are nurses that work at Mercy or all these different
Hmm.
locations, and they're doing 12-hour shifts, and I'm like, man, like, do you have to be like on energy drinks and coffee to kind of get through those kind of days, or is it just because you're so
You
busy? They go,
Yeah, you kind of get used to it. At first, it's really rough, but then once your body starts, and then it's really nice to have like 3 4 days off. So you just come in and you're like, hey, it's just 3 4 days, and then like you're done. So that's nice. So it's just a way, but you definitely like everything else. You just have to get used to it. Being on your feet, not eating correctly those 3 4 days, just trying to be organized as much as you can. But sometimes days are so unpredictable in nursing, you can't plan it.
Yeah,
So you just have to.
yeah, I have like long shifts too whenever I work some of the TV and broadcast production stuff, and you just gotta you gotta prepare. Like I stopped drinking like a day or two before, stop doing everything, just kind of go sober, make sure that you go to sleep. That way you can handle your 10 to 16 hour shift because depending on what the call is, you might be there for like a long time. But
oh
yeah.
wow.
But if you go tired,
You're yeah.
yeah.
I feel like I couldn't do that. I feel like when I've worked 8-hour shifts at normal job, I am exhausted and I'm just kind of like I want to do something else. So hey, my respects for the people that do nursing and that I know there's a shortage of nurses in our state because it's tough work. So then when you were doing that, you said you were still getting involved with working in nursing, but you were starting to incorporate real estate and it turned into 16-hour work days.
Yes.
So you were using those extra days that you had like off to start getting involved in real estate? Is that what you're
Right.
doing?
So exactly that I started getting more busy with real estate. So then I decided to work just the weekends, 16-hour shifts. And then I was Monday through Friday, I was off from my nursing job. And I dedicated that time to real estate. So I did real estate full time Monday through Friday and then nursing 16-hour shifts on the weekend.
And I feel like I think you've told me this, that there's just a lot of opportunity in real estate, right? That's why you see a lot of people that kind of jump on that bandwagon to try to get involved in real estate. Obviously, the amount of homes for sale are restricted. Obviously, there's probably like a number of like homes for everyone to try to sell. But would you say that even now, if someone wants to get into real estate, there's a good opportunity to make a good amount of income there?
I mean, absolutely. I think real estate is really like I love real estate. It's changed my life completely. But I don't think becoming a realtor has changed my life. I think it's just the knowledge of real estate. And I think a lot of people sometimes confuse that. Like they see me and they think and they're like, oh, I want to become a realtor. But as a realtor, I don't just sell houses. Like I invest. So I have 3 properties of myself that I do Airbnbs. Then I have 2 flips that I'm currently working on. So it's a lot more than just all my financial wealth. I say that I have from owning real estate, not by selling it.
And that's what I was going to ask you. That's kind of the big reason why I wanted you on this podcast to talk about that, because even I'm very uneducated on that. And I do want people to learn about like what they can do to prepare for their future. Because look, most of my work has been community organizing and doing community work. And when you do that kind of work, you're so overwhelmed with everything that you're doing that you don't even think about like how to plan for your future. Like, what should I do to take care of myself? Because by the time that I'm 60 years old, there might not be Social Security anymore.
Right.
And all these different things. And 401ks can get you so far.
Right.
Right. So for me, I've always wanted to learn more about. So that's why I'm excited that you're here. So we can kind of talk about like your experience per se. So let's talk about like your first property that you bought. how was that process for you? Was it difficult? How did you get that done?
Okay. So yeah, initially and I did a lot. So while I was a nurse, I was a realtor. I was also having a cleaning company. And while having a cleaning company, I came across people that owned Airbnbs, and that's how I came across Airbnbs, is cleaning them. When I was cleaning them, I was like, holy moly, like these are renting out like every day, and like I'm flipping them and I'm cleaning them, for them. They're charging like a hotel. So it was all like a new concept that I didn't even know. And little by little, I was so intrigued by that I just started learning it, right? So I started learning it. I started cleaning them. Then I started managing them. And then I started just learning the whole concept of the Airbnb, because still a lot of people don't do it. Like I think one of the few Hispanics that actually has Airbnbs in Springdale and manages and does all that. So I was very fortunate to have a really good mentor. So she was able, like, I just asked her straight up. I was like, let me see your financials. I was like, I just want to see how does this work? How much money are you making? Is it worth it? Why aren't you flipping? Why aren't you renting?
And then she was just like, yeah, here you go.
She was really, yeah, that's what I'm saying. I got really lucky. And she was like, because I had cleaned her Airbnbs for a while, and I knew her. Yeah, and that was actually her nurse. That's how I met her. So yeah, she trusted me, and she showed me everything, and I was like, wow, like this is freaking amazing. That just like 2 Airbnbs can definitely give you a whole income, as like a whole income.
Yeah.
Just 2. Imagine like more. So that's when I was like, okay, that was my goal. Like I was like, I'm gonna clean, I'm gonna manage, I'm gonna learn it, I'm gonna for sure learn it and do all the kinks. By the time I have mine, I should be like a pro. And that's exactly what happened. So I started managing. I listed for other people. I managed them. I kind of tested. I was like, Springdale, I haven't heard Springdale has Airbnb. So I kind of tested one out. I asked somebody at the time, I was like, hey, let me turn your house into an Airbnb. Let's see how it goes. And if it doesn't, no loss, whatever, I'll help you. If we lose, like, I'll help you. So we turned it into that, and it grew. Like, it was booking, and it was booking, and it was booking. So I was like, heck yeah, like, it is. Like, Airbnb is where it's at. Then I just kind of saved my money. And as soon as I could, I invested in one property.
What does that look like? Okay, because look, when I think about that, I think about like, oh, you have a house already, right? Mm-hmm. You have a house, and you want to invest in another property. Like, what does and I know this might be different for every situation, but like, let's say for a house that's like maybe $280 right now at the moment. Like, how much money do you have to put down for you to be able to get a second home? Is there any positive, like because you already have a house and you're trusted, you've had it for a few years, does that benefit you in that process to get a second home?
Absolutely. And what people don't understand and people don't know, there's always ways, right? There's always loopholes, there's always something, there's always something. So I always tell people, please educate yourselves, because there's always something. So I don't know if you knew this, but every 2 years you qualify as a new home first time buyer. What that means is every 2 years, you can buy a brand new house with the whatever programs that they're offering for the first time home buyer.
Like FHA and stuff?
All of it. Yeah. All of it.
So I can get
every
that FHA
2
again?
years, you could get a house potentially with a 0 down.
You see, this is the thing.
Why not do it? That's how I'm like every time I'm like on my 2 year mark, I'm like, go.
This is why I wanted to have this conversation, because like I see people that I know that are doing that are buying homes and are, after, I think it's like a year that you have to have, like you have to take care of the house first before you can put it as a rent, right? Before you can rent it. I think you're supposed to have it for a year.
It depends on what program you get, right? So that's what I'm saying. It all depends on what programs you get. There's some programs right now that are offering up to $25,000. You don't have to pay that back, but you have to live in that home for 5 years. Okay. So it just all depends on what program you get. If you get the traditional, I'm just going to get a primary house, you get the normal first-time home buyer credit. There is a way that you can do it every year, but it's a lot more complicated and there's more taxes to it and stuff. So I always say if you can wait 2 years, then you avoid all of that. Okay. So every 2 years, you for sure 100% qualify for that. After 1 year, definitely you can move out and rent. But it's more complicated to get that second home without all of those programs.
Okay, that makes sense. Because what I was saying is like, I've seen some of my friends that do that, or some people out on Facebook that I see them do that. And based on my conversations, they don't have like a lot of money saved up per se. And I'm like, how are these people doing it?
Yeah, and you don't have to. That's why it's so beautiful. Like, that's what I tell people in real estate, because every time people reach out and they're like, hey, I want to become a realtor, I want to become just like you. And I'm like, you don't have to become a realtor. What you need to do is invest in real estate. It's where it's at. It's real estate. It's not realtor. It's real estate.
In my own neighborhood, because I live over there, kind of where you're always posting on Instagram that you're like in that little office. You know, I live like 2 minutes right there.
Okay.
In the Haberton Ridge
Okay.
area, and then I started noticing that some of my neighbors, like, were coming in and leaving after a few months, and I'm like, what's going on here? Like, I keep on seeing new neighbors come in, and then I realized that like they were either renting it, and then there's one property there that's an Airbnb, and I'm like, oh, like, so other people are doing this, but like I almost feel like they don't want to talk about it because they're like, man, let's keep these opportunities for myself to see how many homes I can purchase, you know. But it's important for us to do so because these are opportunities of income for immigrants también, to be able to do that.
Yeah.
So you had that one home, and then you started doing an Airbnb. Is it one Airbnb that you currently have, and are you renting the two other homes, or what does that look like right now?
So I have one, which is my main home, and then I have two others, which are one's an Airbnb, and then the other ones I'm just renting it out right now. It is an Airbnb, but I am helping out a friend. She's fixing her credit, and then when she's done, she's gonna buy a house. So I'm having her stay there in the meantime. But once she's out, it's gonna be an Airbnb as well. My main home, I basically just live in that home 2 weeks out of the month. So I have children, and we have joint custody. My ex-husband takes them for a week, and then I have them for a week. So when I don't have my kids, that's when I have chosen to Airbnb my house for that 1 week, right? And it makes sense for me because it's just me and my house is big. So that's when I choose to travel. So I rent out my home for that week. My rent gets paid, and then I get even like more money, and that's not money that I use to travel. So I'm basically getting paid to travel.
So like that was the one thing that I was thinking about. I was like, does she have kids? Because I mean, you were like, I was working Monday through Friday doing real estate, and I was doing the nursing like all day, like on the weekends, and then you had and then the cleaning service. Like that's a lot of drive. So congratulations on that.
Thank
but,
you.
but the second thing was so when you leave, like what about your stuff?
Yeah. So the way that I call myself an opportunist because I'm like, anytime that I see an opportunity to make money, I'm going to take it. So like I said, on the weeks that I don't have my kids, I have set up, so I have completely remodeled our closets to where we have like drawers in there. We have everything. So all of our stuff is in our closets. So what I do is I lock up the closets, but we have dressers in the main room. So they have a bed, they have dressers. So the guests come in and they can use the dressers. But the closets are not available for the guest.
Okay. Oh wow. So how many times a year would you say that you are traveling? Like if you could think about it, like más o menos.
Honestly, I'm traveling at least once a month for at least 2 weeks.
Oh wow. And that's not exhausting for you to just constantly be
It's not, and I'm gonna so there's different reasons why I do travel. So as a nurse, I always work with geriatrics, older people. I love them. I feel like there's so much wisdom, there's so much and I've always asked them 2 questions, like, and I'm not lying, there's not one patient that has
travel
told me,
the world.
There's not one patient that has not told me the following things. I've always asked, what's the one thing you regret in life, and how does your marriage work? Every time when I ask what's the one thing you regret in life, it's always not taking the trip, not doing what I wanted to do, or waiting because, it's like, oh, I'm going to go to Europe in 5 years, and then those 5 years never came. But it's always that. They always have regret on not wanting to do something. Or, man, I wish I would have gone to the beach. I wish I would have done this. And that's so sad to me because I don't want to end up on a hospital table when I'm like 80 and I'm like, dang, I had all that time and I didn't value it. I didn't do it, like just because I was waiting for time, because we don't have time. My brother recently, he's 42, and he just recently had a stroke. That completely changed his life. Had he not done the things that he wanted to do prior to his stroke, then he would be in that same situation. I don't know. I could have a stroke tomorrow. But I am happy with what I've done so far. So that's why I'm like, I don't know what tomorrow looks like. I don't know if I'm going to be selling. I don't know if I'm going to be healthy. I don't know if my kids are going to need me more. Like, I don't know. So I'm going to go ahead and enjoy it now that I can. And instead of being like Bad Bunny and regret it and then be like, ooh, I should have taken my pictures. No, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. And then I'll regret. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've never regretted anything. I haven't.
I think I was like the opposite. I think the first half of like my life here, like I lived it like I was gonna die tomorrow, you know.
And you maybe you were gonna die.
Well, I mean, I was just like
the way you party makes you might have been able to die one of those.
I was just like, dude, like I don't want to like die and like. What I'm gonna die at 22 and then not got to go see a concert or whatever. So I always did that, and then now that I'm getting older, I'm like, hold on, let me like. Okay, I'm not gonna start planning because I think I might be alive a little longer than I thought.
Well, they say like if you figure out balance, you figure out life.
Yeah.
Like that's all it is. Like you just have to figure everything out. Of course, you want to party. Like I'm not a big partier to be honest. I was married for 20 years, so it was very like normal, whatever. Then I was single and I was introduced to the partying life. But it's for some people and it's for some not. Like I enjoy it, of course, but it's so much toll on my body that I can't handle it. I can't do it. Like, I don't know how people do it, like, 3 days a week. I can't. Dude, like, I do one day, and I'm like, I rest for a whole week.
I get it, because I'm, like I said, I feel like I'm getting older, and then I got these older people than me that are going out. I go out once a week, maybe. But then these people are, like, 3 times a week. I'm like, how?
What are they on?
Or maybe even more. Well, I can tell you what they're on.
Like if I ever overdo it one night and I drink like more than 5 or 6 drinks, my leg hurts the next day.
Yeah.
Like I don't really get
my leg hurts.
I don't get hungover, which is a problem that I don't get hungover whenever I drink. Right.
I tell them it's because it doesn't go hard enough.
I always maybe it's like because I'm extra paranoid just about alcoholism.
Everything else, yeah.
Because like alcoholism runs in my family, so I'm like over paranoid about things. So whenever I do overdrink, and I consider like 5 or 6 drinks over drinking, right? And the next day my leg hurts. Like I just feel off a little bit. There was one time when I overdid it. I think it was on Halloween when I overdid it, and I got up from the couch really quick, and I felt like my world was spinning, and I'm like, oh man, is this what people feel when they drink a lot? But hey, I see that whenever you travel, you get some good drinks. I see some of the stories that you put.
Yeah, for sure. Like I'll drink, but I don't like to like be to the point where I'm not aware of myself. I'm such a control freak that I feel that I need to know what's going on.
What are your go-to drinks, by the way? What do you like to drink?
So I love champagne. Champagne is one of my best or my go-to drinks because
Champagne.
Tell me about that because I don't get it. I've never really had champagne that has alcohol in it.
Wait,
why is
champagne
that?
with no alcohol?
Is that because it's low calories?
Yeah, so I do because it's low carbs.
Okay.
Yeah, but I do know like a lot of my friends like they're not used to champagne. They'll get headaches. Like they get all these like they get drunk really fast.
I feel like you do get drunk faster.
But like if you're used to it.
Is there is there not non-alcoholic champagne?
If you're talking about the apple cider thing, like the little like.
I like how you look at Migs and you're like, is he talking? Is this amateur talking about this?
I think he is.
Disgusted.
I guess I need to try the alcoholic champagne.
I like champagne because I like to put my pinky up when I drink.
No, but it's low carbs and it's like bubbly. It's like a different.
Okay, that makes sense. Maybe I got to give it a try.
Yeah.
But going back to the property thing, what are some what do you say if someone wants to obviously you're gonna say come with me, go to my business. But what would you recommend for someone that actually does want to go ahead and explore possibly getting a second property and renting it? What are the steps?
Honestly, a lot of my education, and it's funny, but like use social media for what it's worth, right? Like use TikTok, use YouTube, like go on there, search for like how to invest, investor like beginner. There's so much good information on like on the media, 30, 40 seconds, and just start educating yourself. I cannot stress that enough. Educate yourself. You don't have to use me, like you don't have to, but educate yourself. Educate on what programs there's available. Educate on what options you have as far as what to do with the home. So that's what I always say. Like even when I meet with my clients, I'm like, you don't have to use me, but here's what I would do. Here's your options. You get to choose on what you want to do.
And you told me this that when you have some people that come up to you and they'll be like, "Hey, I want to do an Airbnb," that you talk to them about like renting, or was it the other way around?
The other way around. So I get a lot of calls. Obviously, I'm a realtor, so they want to sell their homes. They want to sell a house and they want to buy another one. I have converted
They want to sell their house.
most of those sellers into investors now. I get them to keep the house, and I get them to understand the value of keeping it, gaining equity throughout the years, and then having their mortgage paid, and not only that mortgage paid, but then some of that money goes into their new mortgage. So that's a concept that like they're like, wow, I can do that. Like, and it's amazing and so gratifying to me to see that. And people are like, oh, but you're losing a sale. But I'm really not. Like, I'm educating this person, and by educating that person refers me out to like 5, 6, 7 more people.
And the good karma that you get too by trying to help someone out.
But I'm like, it's so easy to do, and I always say like scarcity mindset is not it. Like if you think, oh, I'm gonna go ahead and have to do it now, like it's gonna come. You just need to do it correctly. It's gonna come.
That makes sense. And so you said about how many people do you think you've changed their minds on that?
Oh,
what would you say?
Honestly, from all of them, only like 2 ended up selling because they had to. Other than that, everybody else kept.
Man, that information is so important. Like just you mentioning that whole 2-year thing. I didn't know that. A lot of people don't know that. And
well, I mean, to me, it was always kind of like a lot of the value, especially here in America, is based on anywhere really your property. So accumulation of property is probably the best way you can go.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like and you don't have to be a realtor. You just have to be educated and buy real estate. Because like I said, I think a lot of people confuse like my success or whatever because I'm a realtor, but it's not even that. If I was a real, like I wouldn't. It's my wealth that I have built in all my homes and all those equities, the Airbnbs that I do that I don't. Basically, from just what I have going on my real estate portfolio, I wouldn't have to work because that pays for itself.
And what are your goals in that? Like how many properties do you think you would like to have?
I mean, obviously, because there's not a limit. Because if I can do this every 2 years, why not? If I can,
is it very manageable? Like I guess eventually you'll have to get help in like managing stuff, right? Because it's a lot. So if you keep this going like every 2 years, is that just kind of like you really don't have a set number of homes where you're just like, no, I'm just gonna keep on doing this until it goes. And then if I need help managing, then you'll just hire someone to do that.
Yeah, and I've started to like delegate some stuff. So before I would do all of my transaction paperwork, I have a transaction coordinator now. I would do all my house cleanings. I have a cleaner now. So as you're getting busier, you start delegating stuff because at the end of the day, time is also valuable. So I just started delegating things like that just to make my time more free, more available. I have somebody that I'm teaching how to manage Airbnbs. So when I'm not in town, they manage that one, or other clients want to come to me. Instead of me managing all of that, I give them to them. So yeah, there's different things that eventually you have to learn. Again, balance. If you learn to balance, you're set.
Are you the kind of person that would be open to like mentoring younger people that want to do the same thing that you do?
Yeah, absolutely. I have a lot of friends that have called me. I've shown them how to manage Airbnbs. I've shown them how to like just make things easier. I'm very work smarter, not harder type of girl. So I've taught them how to do that. But again, that comes with time. That's with things that I've learned throughout the way.
So you definitely are saying that your profitability is more by having an Airbnb than by renting out the place.
So far from what I've seen, yes.
Okay.
And I'm going to tell you why. So whenever you have one property, right, and you're renting it, that's a set amount. So let's say you're renting it for $1,600, you're a profit of $800, okay? That's $800 every month you can count on. And if you're safe and you want to do that, do that. That's still profitable money. That's still $800 more than, you don't have.
Yeah.
Doing an Airbnb, you're taking a chance. But if you take it and you decide the numbers work and they make sense, why not? For instance, my house, one of them, if I rent it out for 3 days, that pays my mortgage. So why not take that chance of renting it out? As long as, to me, it's like, as long as it pays my mortgage, I'm good. But then anything extra, there's 30 days usually in a month, 30, 31. Anything extra is my money.
And you haven't had any issues so far with like the people that stay at your places?
So far,
Nothing?
no. Thankfully, no.
Knock on wood.
Yeah, knock on wood. So far, no.
Is there any town here in Northwest Arkansas where you see that Airbnbs are more successful?
So Fayetteville is completely capped out. So there's no more. You can't do an Airbnb in Fayetteville anymore. Springdale, we are not capped out yet, but it's looking like. So that's why I'm always trying to, even if I'm not like my house that I'm currently renting to.
What do you mean by capped out?
That means that nobody else can do an Airbnb.
And I think I get why Fayetteville's doing it because of like lack of affordable housing over there.
Well, and there's so many too. Because eventually you don't want to just have Airbnbs everywhere and not have renters.
Yeah, I've been to so many like parties or shindigs or things, and then I go and I'm like, man, this is a nice house. Like, who's the owner? And then like it's an Airbnb, and this happened multiple times. I'm like, what?
In Springdale, I saw it because when I was out registering people to vote. I would knock on someone's door and then they open it, and then I was trying to register them and they're like, I don't live here. Like, I'm only here for 3 days. And I'm like, what is this?
Why are you here?
I was like, this is an Airbnb, I guess. And I'm just, so capped out, you mean like there's a limit as to how many
There
Airbnbs?
is a limit. There's a limit for every city.
You think Springdale will have to do that too?
Yeah, eventually, yeah. I mean, people catch on, yeah.
I guess that makes sense. But like,
after people listen to this podcast,
yeah.
I'm gonna go make an appointment next week.
Maya, we gotta get a second house.
Everybody wait 2 weeks before let me put my first. I'm just kidding.
What about Rogers and Benville?
They're still good, yeah.
That's like that's the best market you would think for doing that?
Honestly, I haven't had or managed a place that I haven't been successful in. I don't know if it's because I'm also like a super host. Again, it all comes with time. So being a super host, that means that you have really good reviews, you have all this. So sometimes as an Airbnb guest, even sometimes when I'm looking for homes and I'm wanting to rent an Airbnb, I just strictly look for super host because I want to make sure that, the place is nice, they're credible.
So is that just like that's like based on the reviews of people?
That's based on the reviews and time, yeah. So maybe at first it's like not as easy again, but I'm talking with experience, right? I'm talking about 3 years of experience. Once you're at that super host, because it's like guest favorite super host, then you're pretty much set.
Oh wow. Okie dokie.
As long as you don't mess it up.
I mean, how could you mess it up by like just being a jerk and so
I mean, there's clients that come in. Oh man, they are. So there's people that complain about everything. There's somebody that complained that I didn't have baby spoons in my kitchen. There's somebody that complained that I didn't have.
You didn't come prepared for your baby.
Yeah.
How do you not have baby spoons?
But you just have to like. Customer service. It always comes down to customer service. You just have to make them happy. And I ended up getting my cleaner to get them some spoons and, took it and just things like that. But that was stupid. Like I didn't have to do that.
Yeah.
But had I not, maybe that would have caused me a bad review. So.
Oh, wow. So then when someone comes to one of your properties and you're in town, I guess you sometimes have to meet them. Most of the time, I'm guessing you have like a code or something so they can get in the house by themselves, right? But do you interact with a lot of the clients like face to face?
Not really. I've only met one. That's because she came in earlier than her time and I was still cleaning the Airbnb. Other than that, I don't have any face interactions with them besides messages.
So things have been smooth for the most part in this process for you. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So for the folks that are listening, take advantage of the opportunity. I know I'm going to look into it a little bit more just to kind of educate myself and see if that's something that I want to do or not.
Yeah, I'm planning on moving. I don't know, but all this information has been very useful.
No, yeah, and I really like even when I sit down and I talk to clients, and it really like fuels my soul. Like it really does. Like educating people because I see just like their brightness in their end. They're like just kind of like getting enlightened of the things that they can do. You know,
It's a big difference
it
maker in their
is.
life. If you give someone the opportunity to get more income, they're able to travel. They're able to, like save more for their children's college education. All these different things.
So many things.
Like some simple advice can make such a big difference in
Right.
people's lives. But let's talk about that traveling part, because
Mm-hmm.
you talked about that this has caused you to have the opportunities to travel every month. What are some of the favorite places that you've been and why?
Man, so I've been to so many places. I've been so blessed. The recent one that I just did that was definitely life changing. So I just went to Japan. I was there for 3 weeks. Initially, the plan was for me to go with somebody else, but I ended up going solo. And I had never done an like international solo trip, but man, that trip was so empowering. Like I will never forget that. Like I think even if it's ingrained in my soul how much that changed.
Yeah, Japan's on the bucket list for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, from what I see, man, I just want to go over there and just by myself and just go crazy and take pictures and eat everywhere.
And they're very respectful people, aren't they?
Oh my God. Like I was so safe. I was there by myself. I did all the things. I never felt disrespected at all. And their culture itself, they're already very respectful. They're not loud at all. They're just, oh man, like everything was so amazing. It's so calm there. It's so
Where'd you
peaceful.
stay? What part of Japan?
So I traveled a little bit. So I went to Tokyo. I went to Kyoto, Mount Fuji. Yeah, I went there. And then I went to Thailand, and then Singapore while I was over there.
Oh, Thailand, I heard it's a great trip, especially if you're like in a budget. I hear it's cheap to get over there, and everything's super cheap there.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
That's so cool. So then, besides this trip, what are some of the other trips that you've done?
I've gone to Europe a few times. So the way that we do it is every time that I go one place, I try to hit like as many as I can. Like I'm that person. Some people like to just go one place and then just like sit and relax. I'm like, no, we're here. I don't know if I'm gonna be here again.
That's
so
me.
let's just
That's me.
See all the things that we can see.
Como dicen, a descansar al cementerio.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So that's
you
kind
can
of
rest in Arkansas.
Yeah. That too.
Yeah, that's kind of how we do it. So when we went to Europe with my friends, that was such a cool trip too. It was like 5 of us. We went to Spain, Switzerland, Italy, France, and Monaco.
Have you gone to watch any sports games over there when you've gone?
No, we haven't. Yeah.
My wife and I are trying to go to Spain this year.
Catch a Barca game?
Heck no. Real Madrid, bro. But our priorities are England, the Netherlands, and Scotland. That's kind of what we want to do. So we've said, like, we have to do it There's no waiting. Are we possibly going to do it? No, we have to do it.
Right.
Just because, my wife, for example, she got her residency like a little bit over a year ago, or maybe a year and a half ago. And we haven't been able to travel internationally before then.
Right.
So it's like now we got to take advantage.
You don't have an excuse
So
anymore.
I'm going to hit you up for some tips on some
course.
places that you've gone to. I appreciate all the information you gave us today, Geraldine. I think I hope people, listen to this and really go out there and just get more information themselves and reach out to you too. Where can people reach out to you if they want to, either talk to you about possible opportunities like this or want to hit you up for a house?
Yeah, for sure. My phone number is 479-684-6299. Facebook, Geraldine Martinez. Instagram, Buy with Geraldine. And I check those regularly because I do get a lot of questions and just requests on my socials. So I'm there regularly. That's part of my job.
And what do you do to take care of your mental health?
Man, I love the gym. That's my first thing that I do in the mornings. I like to go work out.
Because when I met with you the other day, you were in your gym clothes.
Yeah. And it's funny because a lot of times my clients, they'll see me there in scrubs, gym clothes, or like regular clothes. But they're used to seeing me like all over the spectrum because it's like, this is my life though. Like but working out is definitely very important to me. Traveling is obviously very important to me. being with my kids. That's
You got to travel with your kids, didn't you?
I travel with them. Yeah, so I travel with them often as well.
And I guess what is a place that you remember that you traveled with your kids that you really enjoyed the experience?
So it's very different. So I try to do like one-on-one trips with them because their age gap is so different. One of my very favorite ones was when I took my daughter to see Harry Styles in New York. It was like a
Madison Square Garden?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, so that was very special because she enjoyed it so much and like it was such a dream. So it's just beautiful to see like that, through them. It was Halloween or, whatever he calls that for Halloween or whatever. And she just thought it was never gonna, it was just a dream. So as I'm working and I'm doing all these things, it's kind of hard because I don't want to give them 100% everything because I also want them to work hard.
Yeah.
But I want them to see that it's possible and it's doable. Like you just have to work hard. But I also don't give them everything because then they're not going to appreciate it.
I understand. But hey, look, they have an example of you and to see that, your mom's able to do it so they can do whatever they want to do too.
You're also not easily shook, I noticed. Earlier, when she was in the middle of giving one of her answers, I was fixing the light and I accidentally bumped it and it turned into a different color. And no stall in her speech, just kept going like nothing. So, great job again.
She's like, we build different.
Yeah. They're not like us.
I would have been like, what's going on?
But thank you for being here, Geraldine. I appreciate this conversation. Hopefully we can do it again in the future and we can kind of update. I'll tell you how many properties I have by then.
Yeah, for sure. No, like investing, I love it. You can't shut me up. Like if it's about investing, you can't. But it's so beautiful. Like I'm serious. Educate yourself, guys. Educate. Get on YouTube. Get online. Use what it's for. Like use the media for what it's for.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. For everybody listening,
I also wanted to say when it comes to Airbnbs, like even companies are booking those things out because I have a few companies that would just get like a big house and like 3 or 4 of us would stay there. Oh
wow.
Yeah.
Okie dokie. Yeah. But for everybody listening, that was the end of this episode. Joining us was Realtor Geraldine Martinez. This is Irvin.
And I'm Miggs.
And we're signing off.